is what we wish life for a security guard could be like. You wake up bright and early, after a long, restful night's sleep. Outside, the sun is shining. The birds are singing. The weather is perfect. And there's not a cloud in the sky. You feel great. You're happy to be alive. And you can't wait to get started on your day. When you get to the kitchen, your spouse greets you with a smile and asks you, "How was your night?" The kids are already fed and playing quietly on the floor. You smell the wonderful aroma of fresh buns coming out of the oven. Breakfast is ready, and the table is laid out beautifully, complete with freshly squeezed orange juice and your favorite breakfast choices. You get to work in plenty of time, so you can relax for a few minutes before starting into your busy day. When you're ready to start working, you find your colleagues cheerful and relaxed. Your facility is in great shape, and all work areas are tidy and neat. When you see some of the employees arriving for work, they greet you with a smile. They ask you how your day is going so far, and compliment you on the excellent work you're doing. They are genuinely happy to see you. They all see the workplace as a second home, and you are an important part of the family. When a noisy group of teenagers stray onto your property, you politely ask them to leave, and they respond in unison, "Yes, sir, sorry to have troubled you." And they leave, without any resistance or hint of trouble. As you perform your rounds and patrols, everyone you meet is friendly, cooperative, and enthusiastic. No one has a problem doing what you say. Experience tells you that if you do discover signs of a crime, you can call local police, and they'll show up within minutes. They will take your report and deal with the issue efficiently. They'll probably thank you and send a commendation to your office, complimenting you on your vigilance and observational skills. They appreciate the fact that you help them keep everyone safe and secure. At the end of the day, your relief shows up on time and even brings you coffee and a light snack, so you can spend a few minutes relaxing before you leave work. There's hardly any traffic on the roads, and you get home with plenty of daylight remaining, so you can spend quality time with your children and family.
That's what we wish your life could be like. The truth is that while life as a security professional can certainly have its perks, very seldom do we live an idyllic existence. In fact, unlike the example in the cartoon above, the reality for security guards' day is much more likely to go something like this. You don't feel like you've gotten enough sleep, and the weather outside is miserable. It's raining, and it's too cold. You wish it was the end of the week and closer to your day off. In the kitchen, you realize you forgot to buy milk last night, and the kids finished what there was. So you have dry cereal and black coffee. Puzzle pieces litter the table from where the kids were playing earlier, and you have to clear a spot in order to sit. Traffic is heavy, and you get to work just in time to avoid a reprimand. Your colleague on duty is tired and irritable from a long, busy night. The area is messy, and paperwork from the last 3 shifts hasn't yet been filed away. Employees and managers start shuffling into the building with hardly a greeting to each other or to you. Maybe it's because of the weather, but it looks like the most miserable day yet. A noisy group is gathered to smoke outside your building's front door. You ask them to move away from the entrance so they're not blocking the door. One of them snaps and asks if you expect them to stand in the rain. During your rounds, you're hardly noticed by those you're protecting. They seem focused only on their own duties and responsibilities. You witness some vandalism across the street and you contact police. They tell you they have no one to send out at the moment. Please call back later in the afternoon. It's really unlikely they'll be able to get to this call today. You end your shift and sit in traffic for well over an hour due to a car accident up ahead. By the time you get home, the kids are cranky and you wish they would just go to bed so you can have a few minutes of quiet to recover from your day. The fact is, we've all been there and done that. Having the feeling that no matter what we do, it's never quite good enough. The truth is that you'll never find everything in your life to be perfectly rosy and smooth, but perhaps you can develop some strategies and techniques for dealing more effectively with the little problems which can pop up in everyone's life from time to time. Work-life balance. Perhaps you've heard the term before, or you've been told you need to strike a good work-life balance. If you haven't, it can be summarized as an ability to prioritize one's professional demands along with personal and family responsibilities. For most people, these seemingly opposing priorities seem to be in constant conflict at least some of the time. In younger years, you may be focused on establishing your professional capabilities and a desire for advancement and added income. At the same time, you may be developing a relationship with a partner or raising younger children. As you grow, priorities change, and you might find yourself more concerned about your work, responsibilities, or needing to provide greater guidance and help as your children grow or your relationships change. The fact is that whatever stage of your life you might be at, maintaining a good work-life balance can help reduce your level of stress, increase your feelings of personal and professional satisfaction, and avoid the effect of burnout. In doing so, you'll likely become a happier person at home and a more productive member of your workforce. The importance of understanding schedules. Everyone complies with certain schedules all the time. Monthly schedules determine when your rent or other payments are due. Yearly schedules tell you when to renew your memberships or driver's license, or when to send your friend a birthday greeting or remind you of an anniversary gift that you need to buy. And the most common schedules each of us need to keep are our own daily routines, such as when we work and when we're off. Does establishing a healthy work-life balance means that we no longer are bound to any schedule? Of course not. You're still expected to show up for work on time and to remain until your shift is over, and you still need to ensure you look after your family priorities and responsibilities without interruption. However, you'll probably find that if you think about it, you might be able to schedule things with a little flexibility in mind so that you're free to do what you would like to do and not just those things you're required to do. For example, is it possible for you to work longer hours on one day so that you can plan a trip or a special outing with your family the next? Is it possible to volunteer to take over another guard's shift so that you can take time off when you're needed at home? These types of arrangements can often help a guard prioritize both his or her work and income responsibilities, while taking into consideration life events that can help you build positive and lasting relationships with those closest to you. And you'll probably find that many employers today recognize that helping their workers achieve a better work-life balance helps the company in the long run. It creates more motivated and productive employees who will likely experience less absenteeism and possible burnout and contribute far more to a company's success in the long term. Keys to creating good work-life balance. Start by making sure that the job you have is the job you want. The security industry is huge and offers great opportunities in many different and related fields. Make sure you know the demands and expectations that are going to be put on you from the start. Look for a job which helps suit your personality. For example, are you looking for independence, or would you rather work as part of a team? Do you like a set and predictable schedule, or do you prefer the challenge of the unexpected? Are you capable of taking on added responsibilities and therefore seeking growth with your company? Or do you prefer a routine position without too many variables? These questions need to be asked and answered so that you can find the job you love. If you don't love what you do, nothing else will work out, and you'll never truly be happy. Make your health and wellness a priority. Caring for your own health must be a priority because, quite simply, you can't take care of anyone or anything else if you're not healthy enough to do so. You don't have to join a gym if you don't want to. Set aside time each day for routine exercise. It doesn't have to be strenuous or vigorous to be effective. Experts tell us that about 30 minutes of exercise each day can help maintain health. While working to increase your strength and endurance always leads to greater long-term benefits, avoid starting any program that you're not able to maintain. Continuity is the key to long-term success. So start by doing things that are manageable to you. Eat well. Eating a healthy diet is essential for maintaining peak health, vigor, and energy. Good nutrition can promote long-term health and mental acuity. Understand the benefits of eating a variety of nutritious foods. Recognize the effects of items from each of the important food groups. Learn to understand how different foods are digested and used by the body. Here are some quick details about food choices you should keep in mind. Simple carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates are the foods you should try to avoid. These are highly processed foods which we often associate with quick snacks, items such as cookies and donuts, potato chips, and candy bars. Simple carbohydrates are digested by the body and absorbed into the bloodstream very quickly. That's why you feel really satisfied after eating them, except that the satisfaction you feel is very short-lived. When we eat these foods, our blood glucose levels rise quickly so that we feel more energetic, except that the body senses the increased glucose and releases insulin to counteract the effect. As a result, blood glucose levels drop and we feel more hungry and irritable than we did before. Complex carbohydrates. These are natural, unprocessed foods such as fruits, berries, vegetables, beans, etc. Basically, foods that grow. These foods also provide the body with energy. However, because natural foods are harder for the body to digest, the energy is released far more slowly than with processed foods. As a result, there's no glucose spike and the body's insulin response acts as it should. You'll feel fuller and more satisfied for a far longer period by consuming complex carbohydrates. Proteins. These are meats, eggs, low-fat cheeses, etc. These foods are harder for the body to break down, which means that it takes your body longer for these foods to be digested. For that reason, you'll feel fuller for a much longer period while avoiding an undesirable effect on blood sugar levels. So the takeaway is you should always eat a good and healthy variety of foods and understand the effects each food group will have on your day-to-day performance. Know when it's time to take time for yourself. Everyone needs to take a break sometimes. Whether you need to schedule a vacation period or simply take 1 or 2 days off, remember that there's nothing to feel bad about. Taking a regular vacation can help revitalize you and allows you to become a more productive employee and a more grounded individual. Make sure that you inform your employer well in advance. This allows your company to make arrangements to have your duties carried out by someone else while you're taking time for yourself. And remember one thing, even if you don't go far on your vacation or days off, you should do something other than stay around the house. Most people report that even a short trip away from home is far more refreshing than what's come to be known as a staycation. Recognize that during your time off, you need to be away from work. While we live in such a plugged-in world today that we've come to believe you need to be available at all hours of the day, this is simply not true. If you're scheduled to be on call, you must remain available during that period of time. However, in other situations, know that there's nothing wrong with disconnecting from your electronic devices and focusing on yourself and your immediate family. There's no virtue in burning out because you feel you must be available to everyone at all times. Establish your priorities in life and set goals to achieve them. Priorities are important. Learn to set them and learn to maintain them. In fact, everything we've spoken about so far, in a sense, is about establishing priorities. That includes the priority of finding a job you love, focusing on your health, eating healthy, knowing that you deserve time off, and remembering to unplug. However, priorities also have a lot to do with long-term personal and professional goals. Try to identify those things which are important to you and work out your milestones to help achieve those priorities. Is your priority to have a family before a certain age? To achieve a certain level of financial independence? Is it to learn another language or to travel? Think of how you can work towards achieving those priorities and what markers along the way might help you figure out if you're on track. Priorities are things which only you can determine for yourself. Maintaining good habits. It's incredible to think about how powerful habitual behavior is. These are things we do because we've gotten used to doing them. Most of us develop lifelong habits without even being aware we're doing so. Imagine if you consciously thought about developing certain good habits, like the habit of saving money by taking your own lunch or coffee to work, or the habit of regular exercise, or the habit of developing a certain time each day to meditate. By focusing on healthy habits, you can establish patterns of behavior which will serve you well in the years to come.